everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all well. Welcome to the Citizen channel, and we have a City present and we have a preview, don't we? A big match preview today of Manchester City versus Marseille on the 9th of December 2020, the final game, of course, in our Group C 2021 Champions League group, isn't it? And it's all done and dusted, isn't it? But we've got to play this game. It's important for Marseille. We'll have a look at their thoughts on it later on. I'm a bit confused as to how they're going to approach it, to be honest with you, at this stage. 8 PM kickoff at the Etihad. So, yeah, we're not there, are we? But more on that later. We might be back before the end of the year. Who knows? A little bit more on that later on. We'll have our usual features, that magazine feature. Just a quick, smaller one today, just 3 or 4 talking points about what's happening with City. Of course, we'll have the odds on the game as well, just for fun bets. Please, I don't condone gambling, and based on my last efforts against Fulham, it's a good job I don't, because it was absolute rubbish. Yeah, we're going to have a look at this game today. So please, if you're new to this channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notification. All these vlogs are coming out, and please, we've just hit 500 subscribers. If you can, that's my appreciation to everybody. If you can point other people in my direction, other City fans, that would be fantastic. Please check the playlists and see lots of City stuff on there. You also see some film stuff as well. So if you've been interested in films and TV, I do vlogs on that as well on my film and TV channel. So if you or anyone else you know might be interested in that, please put them in my direction and get them to give us a sub as well. That'd be absolutely wonderful. Right, the match, it's on BT Sport, so you can watch it on BT Sport. We've got some Amazon games coming up, haven't we, which is nice, because I do have Amazon, so but I don't subscribe to any of these other things, BT Sport or Sky Sports or anything like that, so I have to sort of find a way of watching it anyway. But there you go. Yeah, so this is on BT Sport. Of course, the last time, we've not got much, can't do a history boys on this one, can we? Because we don't have much history between us and Marseille, unfortunately. So no history boys feature today. But we obviously met at the Stade Velodrome, didn't we, on match day 2 of the Champions League on Tuesday the 27th of October. Seems longer. Is it funny how time flies, but some things seem so long ago. The lineup that night, we had Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Zinchenko, Rodri, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Torres, Foden and Sterling. Quite an interesting lineup. Of course, we had a deserved victory, didn't we, over the French team back in October. Then Kevin De Bruyne had capitalised on a poor play at the back from Marseille before the 20-minute mark, and fed Torres for a simple finish to open the score. And it was quite tight. Obviously, it was comfortable at 1-0, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't until the 76th minute that we got a second goal when Gundogan finished with a close range effort. And of course, KDB again was instrumental just 5 minutes later in the 81st minute, putting a pass through to Sterling for him to round off a resounding win from close range. And my man of the match that night, don't even if you remember, was Foden. So yeah, I'm fairly 110% sure he'll be playing at the Etihad on Wednesday night. Anyways, that's one thing. Fingers crossed, unless he picks up an injury or something, but I hope not. I mean, on the night, yeah, we had they just had 2 shots, 2 on target, so at least they hit the target twice. We only had 8 shots, 4 on target, so it wasn't the greatest of games, was it? It was just job done. There's a lot of those this season, isn't there? Job dones. Possession, we had 65% of the possession. Passes, we did 821 to their 458. Completion was very good for City. That's one of the highest completions we had against Marseille. Perhaps because he sat back a little bit and we knocked it about a bit more, perhaps waiting for the opportunities. But we had a 92% pass completion rate, which was pretty good. Marseille's was 83. That wasn't bad, actually. Usually, obviously, when we beat teams like that, it's usually in the 70s. But that wasn't bad for Marseille either. I'll give you my score prediction, obviously, when we do the odds later on. The officials for the match. So here we go. We've got the old Turk. Well, it's Christmas, isn't it? We've got the old Turkish officials for this one. The referee is Halil Umut Mela. All from Turkey. There's one doppelganger. Someone snuck in here as well. Got assistant referees Mustafa Eyisoy from Turkey, and if you forget please forgive my pronunciations. Also, assistant referee Kevdet Komur from Turkey. The fourth official, Arda Kardesler from Turkey. Video assistant referee, we've got a German on the VAR. We've got Sasha Stegman on VAR, but his assistant is Ali Palabiyik in Turkey. I wonder where they're based. Where do they do it? Do they have a... Is it in Switzerland, like the United Nations, or whatever, or Brussels, like the EU used to be? I'm not sure where the VAR studios are. I mean, obviously, I know ours is essentially Park or something, or is that where they do the spying thing? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure where they do it. Anyone know? Let me know in the comments. I have no idea. I should have just Googled it, shouldn't I? But I've only just thought of it, really, so why would I have Googled it? Right, the lineup, here we go. Interesting one. I mean, it's up in the air, isn't it? I think all the players that didn't play against Fulham, I think, are basically guaranteed shoo-ins, aren't they? I would have thought. So I'm going with this. Let me know what you think anyway in the comments. Let me know what your lineup might be. I've gone Stefan in goal. I think he's got to get that experience at the end of the day. You never know, we might need him. And I think he'll play Stefan rather than Carson. I think Carson will be on the bench with Ederson, I assume, because he tends to have two goalie subs, don't we, in the Champions League. So I'm going Stefan. I'm going Cancelo again. Because obviously Walker didn't play, but I can't see him playing. He didn't play against Fulham, but I can't see him playing in this one. Can you? But I'll go Cancelo, Laporte, and Ake as the back two. And then, but I'm thinking Ake at left back, believe it or not. So I'm going to put Garcia in as well. I'm sure he's going to play Garcia in this one. Not that I particularly want him to, but yeah, I'm Ake at left back. I'm going to have Zinchenko playing though, but I think he'll move Zinchenko into midfield. To be honest with, just to give him a game there with Fernandinho obviously as the defensive midfielder. And I put Gundogan in because I don't really know, unless he puts one of the kids in, and I don't think he will. I think he might just play Gundogan and just take him off after 60 minutes perhaps if things are going okay. As I'm not 100% sure Gundogan will play against United. So I think I put Gundogan in. I put Foden. I think that's a shoe-in. Bernardo must be a shoe-in. Torres must be a shoe-in for this as well. So I mean, there's certainly 5 or 6 of those players are shoe-ins for playing, and that's 5 of the team that actually played in France against Marseille. So not a total change. Obviously, will he put Jesus in? Is he going to risk Jesus? This is the thing. So I've not put Jesus in there, as you can see. And as I said, Ake left backs in Checo moving into midfield. I think Foden, Torres, and Bernardo, like a front three. I don't know how we mix it up. I don't know will Torres be the middle of those two. I'm not too sure. And of course, I was thinking Delap, but he's not eligible. I'm not sure why he's not eligible, but Delap's not eligible anyway, and he's not even added in the squad, has he, recently? So there you go. So my 11: Stefan, Cancelo, Laporte, Ake, Garcia, Zinchenko, Fernandinho, Gundogan, Foden, Bernardo and Torres. I'll be interested if we get 7 or 8 of those. If I get 8 or 9, I'll be happy, because as I say, I think 5 or 6 of those are pretty shoe-ins, aren't they? Marseille, yeah, how are they doing? Well, they weren't great against us, but they seem to be definitely a lower level, definitely a class lower than us. They obviously sit bottom of the group, and they can't obviously qualify now. But they will need to better Olympiacos' result against Porto in order to finish 3rd and qualify for the Europa League, because obviously they sit bottom at the moment. So if they get a draw and Olympiacos get beat, then that'll be enough. But other than that, they're going to have to better the score, so they're going to have to beat us by more. You know, if Olympiacos beat Porto, they'll have to beat us by more. They'll have to beat us by more, which is very debatable. In the league, they're doing all right. They've won the last 5 Liga 1 matches, recording a 2-0 victory at Nimes just on Friday. So they've got a little day's rest as well, haven't they? Which is interesting. But then again, they were travelling over to Manchester, but at least they got the day's rest, so that wasn't too bad. And they're actually unbeaten now in 8 league matches. They've won 5 and drawn 3. They do sit 4th in the French league at the moment. So they are behind PSG by 4 points, but they do actually have 2 games in hand. So, that could be okay, couldn't it? Even if they drew one and lost, drew one and won one, at least they'll be level on points then. But they do have good away form, but only obviously in all competitions. The only time they've actually been beat is actually in the Champions League. But without that, in the league and cup competitions, they've won 11 and drawn 3 of the last 14 league away games. So they're not too bad away from home. And that's the longest run they've had since a sequence back in January 2008 to January 2009. So it's quite a little bit of a record for them. So there you go, I say. But they're not so good in the Champions League, are they? So it'll be interesting, won't it? I mean, my little thoughts on the game. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting what squad, what team Pep puts out there, isn't it? But as I said, we've got basically our backup 11, our experienced players. I don't think he's going to use many youngsters, and but we do know he'll play every. I think there was 8 senior players who didn't play against Fulham, but obviously I don't think Walker's included in that. But I'm sure I can't see Walker playing. I think he's going to play him against United, obviously. So I can't see Walker in there. But there certainly won't be many youngsters. I don't see any Howard Bellis is getting a game or anything like that. I think Garcia is going to be the youngest on the pitch, to be honest. To start with, anyway. Obviously, we'll see how the game goes, but obviously to start the game. And what are Marseille going to do? Do they want third spot? This is it. Do they really want that third spot? At the moment, the 2 games in hand over teams, aren't they? So they've obviously got a bit of a fixture backlog, a bit like us. So do they really want that third place? They don't have to do much not to get third place, because if they just get beat, they'll end up in bottom and they won't have to qualify for the Europa League. Are they desperate for the money? Will they get a lot of money? I mean, this is the funny thing, is that I've been onto the Marseille site and there's not real anything there to give us any clues as to what they want or what they're planning on doing, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't be surprised if he sort of plays a sort of backup team as well. But it will be interesting to see their attitude. I think we'll know within 10 or 15 minutes if they come just to sort of keep it down, and perhaps or they'll actually come to get something. I think we'll know fairly soon. But it's interesting because I've not seen, as of now, I've not seen the press conferences, I've not seen the body language of the French manager or anything like that, of the Marseille team manager. So yeah, it'd be interesting because I say I think we'll be. I mean, I think Pep's going to play for the win even with this team, because he's got good enough players there to win the game. But do Marseille consider they're good enough to beat City? I wouldn't probably think so, even against perhaps a secondish string. Let's be honest about it. But I said half of that team probably played against Marseille anyway in the first game. So how second string is it? It will be interesting. I think we'll know better when the game starts, and just see how committed Marseille are to the game. Right, there you go, the odds. Well, let's talk about the odds, please. I don't condone gambling, and when the fun stops, stop. And please, as I said, I've never, ever particularly made any money from football gambling. This is just for a little bit of interest. And even today, I'm not going to go full hog, because it's just so in the air of who's playing and who's not playing, and what sort of how Marseille going to approach the game, etc., etc. That I've just done a sort of little token effort today. So I'd advise you to do that anyway if you're putting some money on this. But yeah, total wipeout against Fulham. I mean, it could have been all so different. I did have a 3-0 win for City, so if it scrolls another goal out, I would have been in profit for the day. But obviously a total wipeout with the Fulham game as far as the bet's concerned. That was a bit disappointing. I say it's not disappointing because I only put on what I could afford to lose, and as of it, I say it kept me interested at 2-0, hoping we'd get a third, obviously, as time went on. But there you go. So yeah, Champions League odds still the same. I think Bayern Munich 11-4 to win the Champions League. City 9-2. Obviously, you can't get a bet on Marseille to win the Champions League anymore. So there you go. So I wonder why that is. Oh yeah, they're out. Yeah, so that's a shame. Yeah, so City's still second favourites. I think Liverpool are about 30. You can still get 13-2 on Liverpool. I think they may have moved half a point out. Actually, I think they were best price 6-1. Before the last round of Champions League games. So that's quite interesting. So yeah, I'm keeping the bets in the minimum. Just have a look at the odds, some of the odds, the main odds. The match odds, City are only 4-9. That's quite sort of interesting. That's not a bad little price. What a risk that. I mean, because I thought there'd be more odds on than that. I thought there'd be sort of 1-4-ish rather than 4-9. So if you don't mind doing odds on, that's not too bad value. 4-1 the draw and 15-2 for a Marseille win. First goal scorer, that's quite interesting. Obviously, you've got Torres, Foden and Bernardo all on 7-1. So yeah, well, I'm not going to, you could easily put something on each and get something out of it if one of them scores. So yeah, I'm not doing it, but I'm just saying that's what he could do. I've not really looked at the Marseille scorers. I'm not really interested in that tomorrow. Both teams to score is either yes or no. Is about the same price. You can get the same price if you shop around, about 4-5. So that just shows really, doesn't it? no one's quite sure. Even the bookies aren't quite sure what's going to go on with that, because you can get 4 to 5 on a yes and a 4 to 5 on a no. Obviously, the first couple of bets, I'm going to do it on the correct score, because we do that anyway, don't we? So 1-0 for City, 7-1. 2-0 to City's 13-2. So I'm going to have a point on that. I'm going to have a point on 2-0. If you fancy the 3-0 as it was in Stade de Velodrome over there, if you fancy a 3-0, that's set 9-1. If you fancied 4-0, it's 17-1. If you fancied 5-0, it's 40-1. If you think they're going to score, so say you want to say 2-1 to City, you can get 15-2. So that's where my second bet is. I'm just going to have a point on that. 2-1 to City at 15-2, because I don't mind Stefan. I've only seen him play one game, but I wasn't overly impressed. I know it's a bit harsh on one game, but he's got a lot more to do to convince me that he's going to be a worthy contender to, let's face it, a bit of a dodgy Edison at the moment. But there you go. Yeah, so I'm going to have a point on 2-1 to City at 15-2. If you fancy 3-1, that's 11-1. If you fancy 3-2 for a tight, interesting game, that's 28-1. If you fancy the Marseille win, a 1-0 win is 21-1. A 2-1 win for Marseille is 22-1, and a 3-1 win to Marseille is clickety-click 66. So you fancied Marseille to win that. Half-time, full-time, there's no real value on City on that one. It's 21-20 for City to win at half-time and full-time. No real value. A draw and City to win is a little bit better, 10-3. So if you fancy a tight first half and City to edge, so that's tempting, isn't it? 10-3, and a draw is 7-1. If you fancy Marseille, it's 14-1, and a draw and Marseille is 18-1. But I can't. I'll be very, very surprised. But you never know. And my last bet today is going to be on the anytime goal score. As I said before, some of the odds were quite interesting there, weren't they, with Foden and Torres? But you got Foden and Torres at 21-10, so just over 2-1 anytime goal score. So I'm going to have a couple of points on Foden. I was going to have a couple of points on each, but no, I'll be a bit silly, because obviously they both going to score, but potentially, yeah. So yeah, but I'll just have a couple of points on Foden just for the interest on that at 21-10. You can get Bernardo at 11-5, and as I say, if Gundogan plays, I assume obviously we know KDB, he'd be taking the penalties, so you could get 7-2 on Gundogan to be anytime goal scorer as well. So that's not bad odds. Just before we go, so that's my bets. I'm not having any more bets. Just looking at the under/over market, over 2.5 is 4-6. Yeah, that's not bad. Under 2.5 was 6-5. So so it's going to end up 1-1 or 2-0 or something like that. But no, I didn't fancy that. I think the over 2.5 is okay at 4-6, but that's not a bad price. And over 3.5 over. So if you think there's going to be 4 goals or in the game or more, then it's 7-4, which is again interesting. Or under 3.5 is just 1-2. So that's just 1-2 on. So that was interesting. And just a quick, there's another one as well. Goal margin. City to win. You fancy City to win by 2 goals is 10-3. So that's not bad if you fancied that. That's not bad if you want to do that. Right. So there you go. Right. Onto just a little bit of a magazine feature this week. Not too much on Twitter to talk about. I noticed that I think the Evening News did a little survey on who should partner Ruben Diaz. So assuming Mr. Ruben Diaz is going to start at centre-back in the derby match with United, of course. And it's interesting, obviously, quite a lot of people have put into this, and it's come out with Aymeric Laporte at 63.2% and John Stones at 33%. So that's sort of going against what's happening at the moment. I mean, if Laporte has a fantastic game in the Champions League against Marseille, will he have much to do? That's the thing. But that was an interesting poll that the MEN did. Getting away from City, obviously, we're looking at Millwall fans, aren't we? Booing the taking the knee. Obviously, a lot of the London teams have crowded, haven't they, at the Emirates and was it the Emirates? Yeah, it was the Emirates, wasn't it? Charlton had fans in, didn't they? So a lot of all the London-based teams have managed to get up to this 2,000, and obviously there's boom by the Millwall fans. It was interesting because I saw someone took a snap poll, I don't know, only about 250 votes put on it, but it was just saying, should they still take the knee, yes or no? And 51.9% said yes, 48.1% said no. So almost split down the middle there. I think if they'd probably asked that a couple of months ago, it probably would have been more positive. There would have been a yes vote, a more positive vote. But how long do we do this for? I've never agreed with football getting all political anyway. The only thing I've ever really wanted in football was obviously the Remembrance Sunday stuff and the poppies, and I think that should always be included. But you know, at the end of the day, if it's going to get political, I mean, when do they stop? When do we stop it? I have no idea. And as I said, as crowds start coming back, obviously the Millwall fans have been rebuked for it, quite rightly. But yeah, but at the end of the day, you got to think, when does it stop? When does this taking the knee stop? I'm not absolutely sure, to be honest with you. They do have the stop racism thing that we've had for many years, but obviously this taking the knee thing, I think it should personally stop. I don't think it should be carried on, because at the end of the day, you got to have a cut-off point. You know, all right, do it to the end of the year and then stop it for a new year. I mean, we're in a new year. Obviously, it all emanated from America anyway. They're in a new year with a new president, so let's all start from scratch from then, eh? So let's perhaps do it till December the 31st and then knock it on the head. Let me know what you think anyway. I just think that, you know, it's getting a bit... I would have thought they just finished it at the end of last season, actually. I was a bit surprised he's kept on doing it this season, but hey, there you go. And yes, a rumour that the Newcastle Boxing Day game, that City, obviously, if we drop a tier in this COVID thing, we'll be able to, 2,000 of us will be able to go and watch it. And obviously, again, some little snap polls, and it's probably 60-40 on people saying yes, they would go. Personally, I want to see everyone back there, but, you know, would I be tempted? But at the end of the day, if you start having to have proof that you're COVID free and you have to have a test and all this sort of thing. I mean, I'm working long hours at the moment, so I probably won't be able to sort out how to get that done, and I'll be running around. I'm the sort of guy who likes to be organised and not have to stress over things, so that would probably put me off a little bit if we had to get a certificate or get a test as well and all this sort of thing. As I said, with I'm going to be very busy for the next 2 or 3 weeks anyway, with obviously sort of my workload away from these vlogs, obviously, that I do for City and the film thing. So yeah, I mean, I could go because I'm off. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff and I am off the day after anyway. I'm not actually physically in work the day after. I will be working from home, but I won't be physically going to work, which I do 5 days a week. So yeah, I could go to it. So it's an interesting one. Let me know what you think. Would you go? I mean, just let me know what you think. I say it seems to be 60-40 people want to go. Of course I want to go. Of course I want to watch my team. You know, watch the Scousers and doing their old "You'll Never Walk Alone." I thought you weren't. Someone said I thought you weren't allowed to sing, but it's different rules, isn't it? Different rules for different people, obviously. But there you go. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? But you know, at some stage, I want us all back. I want to be there with my guys. You know, even the guys I just nod to as I walk past the seat, sort of thing. That's what I want. You know, not just the fact of meeting my lad and having a couple of beers, having a stroll up round the ground, and might bump into a couple of guys I know, and obviously into the Mary D's, have a look in the programme shop in Mary D's, have a quick one in Mary D's, and back round the ground, you know. And I just want to get back to that, and I think we all do, don't we? And just our normal routines. So anyway, let's see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm like that. As I say, it depends what checks and how it's done, to be honest with you, before I would even think about putting myself forward, if you like, for the ballots, because obviously it'd be a ballot, wouldn't it? Yep, so that's that. And just finally, We're Not Really Here. If you like watching it, I watched a bit the other day against Fulham. I thought it was okay. It's very toe-the-line, club-orientated, isn't it? Which you'd expect. It's run by the club. But obviously Kyle Walker, the presenter, is obviously presenting that for the Marseille game. And he's joined this week by Paul Dickoff and Kevin Horlock. So if you like that programme, Paul Dickoff and Mr. Kevin Horlock are on it, and it's live an hour before kickoff and a little bit at half time and a little bit after. So that might be of interest to you. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this little preview. I'll be back, of course, with a review of the game on Thursday. The 7th of December. It will probably be late afternoon by the time, because obviously I'll have to do it obviously I'm up early on Thursday, so I will have to sort of do it when I get back. So I can't stay up too late on Wednesday night writing about it. I'll have to do a lot of the work on Thursday, so it will be late then. And please check out my recent City Pass stuff. I've done a recent thing looking back at December 1993, the 8th of December 1993, that saw the full debut of a Welsh player. He only stayed with us a couple of seasons, but he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good when I saw him when he came to City. Yeah, and so it's a look back at the debut and the brief career of a certain Carl Griffiths, so please check that out on my. There'll be links on the screen, etc., and underneath to that one. So please check that out. I had a good fun doing that one. It's nice doing these things when you've seen the player in the flesh. I do a lot where some of the older players that I perhaps wouldn't have seen, or I would have been too young to remember. But it's nice doing something like Carl Griffiths, who obviously, in all the blurb around him when he came with my scrapbook, etc., my scrapbook cuttings and stuff like that. So please check that out if you can. That's fantastic. Please check my links on screen. If you follow and friend me on Facebook and Twitter, I do check every couple of days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you know, I do have a couple of day jobs to pay the bills. So one of them's moviegamenostalgia.com, which is a little website. I used to have a video shop in Manchester in the 90s and the 2000s, so still sell posters that are collected. There's thousands of posters, some great films, some great actors. Have a check of that if you want a little Christmas present. They're great in frames, these posters as well, are fantastic. And I still sell old rare DVDs that are very hard to get hold of in the UK. And I do some board games as well. So if you can check out moviegamenostalgia.com, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Well, there you go. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Whatever you're going to do with the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your family. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Until you join me again here on the Citizen channel, or perhaps flit over to my film and TV channel. This is Bernard saying, please stay safe, Blues. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.